Coming up next, Tech Stock warns students of the dangers of texting and driving. A new Vaquero Express shuttle. An interview with UTRGV SGA President Alberto Adame, and much more. UTRGV TV starts now. How's it going? I'm Daniel Galvan, and I want to thank you for joining us on this week's edition of UTRGV TV. Our top story this week, cell phones. They are an obsession among millennials and basically everybody in 2016, myself included, despite my lack of text. Now, cell phones are a major obsession, but they can also be a distraction, and a dangerous one in that, especially if you're driving. Tech Stock came on campus and talked to students about the dangers of that, and Giselle Ortiz got the story.
In less than a minute, a simple glance can take a life.
If you're driving 55 miles per hour and your distraction is around maybe 4 seconds.
Driving while texting might seem like a harmless task, but this everyday action takes the lives of 11 teens every day.
In 2014, 3,100 people died.
TechStot, along with Grand Ambassador, made a stop at UTRGV to promote their Talk Text Crash campaign.
A lot of students are coming clean and really just saying, yeah, I do text and drive. I do it. And so it's just verification that we need to be here. And I feel like we are making a difference. A lot of them have really felt just the impact of being able to talk to the victim advocates that we have on hand. And I think that really helps drive the message home for them.
Jennifer Zamora became a victim advocate after losing a loved one.
After my husband was killed by a distracted driver in 2007, she was a 19-year-old driver that swerved into his lane and hit him head on.
7 years later, the traumatic effects of the crash would cause Zamora's daughter to take her own life.
It's taken a very personal toll on me and my remaining children, and my way of honoring their lives is by hoping that I can touch these students' lives and prevent anyone else from experiencing this.
Octavio Sainz with TechStot says one less distraction while on the road can save a life.
I think it's extremely important that young individuals and parents and employers talk about the issue of distracted driving. So there are resources online that TechStot has provided. Website www.distraction.gov offers public service announcements, offers guides as to how to start a conversation.
TechStot continues educating others about distracted driving, heading to Waco and Houston in the upcoming weeks. In Edinburgh, Giselle Ortiz, UTRGV TV.
The Rehab Club here at UTRGV has done a lot of great things. One of those things being the most recent 5K run walk. And Cassandra Torres attended that and has the details on the great cause.
It's not about the fastest runner or about the medals. For the 82 runners in the Dash for Disabilities 5K, it's about making strides of awareness.
I have several cousins that have a Down syndrome and a disability, autism, and I've grown up with them and playing with them as cousins, playing in the dirt, riding bikes and all that stuff. I got to see how my life was different from theirs and how they didn't have what I had, and I wanted to give them that. And I believe that if there's two of them, like two of my cousins, there's a whole lot more people that are in the same situation, and I just want to be there to give back and make sure that everybody has the same experience that anybody else does in this world.
Those memorable childhood experiences is what UTRGV's Rehab Club wants all disabled children to have. More than $1,500 were raised and will be donated to the Capable Kids Foundation.
What they do is they advocate for children with disabilities, and they try to provide events such as sports activities for them, because you don't really see that out there. You see a bunch of people who get to go out there, play football, basketball, and all that, but we don't have that for our children with disabilities.
Not only is the Rehab Club helping the foundation, they're also enlightening the general public.
It's just amazing how people can actually come together and we can raise so much awareness for people with disabilities, because a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to live your life without something. We take everything for granted. This helps raise awareness for those people.
With each step becoming harder to make, the runners didn't simply cross a finish line. They've gained empathy for the disabled. In Edinburgh, for UTRGV, Cassandra Torres.
Michael Phelps, Ryan Lochte. Free Willy. All great swimmers. And UTRGV has plenty of great swimmers themselves that are part of the swimming club. And Jennifer Gutierrez visited the club and checked out the action.
The University Fieldhouse is home to the swimming club. UTRGV students who join the team get the chance to practice the water-based sport every week. Vice president of the club, Edar Arcemendi, has always been fascinated by the water.
It's a sport that I kind of picked up, and I'm going to say it's not very common for someone of my stature to take up swimming, but it's just something that I grew to love, even though it shouldn't be my sport, it kind of is.
When he's not in the pool, Arcemendi is a full-time student going for an education major. Even with his busy schedule, he says he takes on swimming because there is no other feeling in the world like it.
It's like you're in another planet, another universe. When you're underwater and you're doing your flip turns and you swim, you get lost. It's a euphoria.
Though he goes to school and is involved in other extracurricular activities, at only 21 years old, Arcemendi is already planning for a future involving swimming.
It doesn't debilitate like the joints, it doesn't hurt your muscles or your bones, so it's something that I'll take up when I hit my 30s and I can't lift weights or anything. And I love it, so it's something I'll do all my life.
For UTRGV TV, I am Jennifer Gutierrez.
Parking at UTRGV and really across the country among campuses, it's not ideal for students. There's very few spaces close to campus, so there's a whole lot of walking. But UTRGV has tried to alleviate the situation with the new Vaquero Express shuttle bus, and Leah Yades got the details on that.
Social media is a very useful tool. It's something we use every day. And now UTRGV is helping you get to class quicker by using only your phone.
In fact, this is how some students found out about the new Vaquero Express shuttle. It starts at 7:15 a.m. and ends at 4:30 p.m. on the north side of campus. Every 10-15 minutes, students are able to get on the bus and be taken to their desired destination.
When it's raining or when it's cold, I don't have to suffer, being wet or being, having to deal with the weather or something like that. Or like when I'm late to class, I just get on the shuttle and then in 5 minutes I'm there instead of walking for like 20 minutes.
The new shuttles have even impressed the bus drivers.
The shuttles that we had last year were nothing compared to the shuttles that we've gotten this year. There's really a big improvement of what we had.
The stops around campus are as shown. You can also visit their website at www.utrgv.edu to get the updated version of the free bus routes that are provided here for students on campus. There's always a way to get to class quicker and safer. For UTRGV TV, Leah Yades.
Friday's baseball game was special for a variety of reasons, one of them being that it was Pride in the Park. Miriam Gomez attended the game and took in the night.
Organizations at UTRGV took part on Pride in the Ballpark, an event created not only to show support for the LGBT community, but also to commemorate a special day.
Today is actually Day of Silence, and Day of Silence is basically a day where we remember those who were harassed or bullied for being lesbian, gay, transgender, or bisexual. And basically we're bringing awareness to the LGBT community through the different organizations that are here today, and basically celebrating equality, not only for the LGBT community, but for all people in general.
People who attended this event had the opportunity to show support to the newly established nonprofit organization, Pride Home.
For a lot of these individuals who are LGBTQ, they don't have anywhere to go when they've come out to their family, to friends, and it can be really scary out there. So we are trying to operate as a facility that can help those who identify in the LGBTQ community, to help provide them with housing, temporary housing, education resources, employment opportunities, and eventually, full housing that they have so they can live on their own. So we're very grateful that we're here with UTRGV Athletics. They worked it out that people can donate items to our home, which we desperately need. Things like toiletries, shampoo, soaps that we're always going to need in the house.
Pride in the Ballpark was an event where people came to support the Vaqueros baseball team, the LGBT community, and Pride Home. For UTRGV TV, I am Miriam Gomez.
Here with UTRGV SGA President Alberto Adame. Now, Alberto, you were the last UTPA SGA President. You are the re-elected, and then the first UTRGV SGA president, 2 terms, 2 long years, serving the students as president. How do you feel, man? As you wrap it up, how do you feel? Are you tired, or what's going on?
It's definitely bittersweet because, of course, as you mentioned, it's been 2 long years where I've had to take care of my responsibilities as a student first and foremost. Because there would be no student government without students. So I have to take care of my studies first, and then make sure that we are staying at a top form in the student government. And it's definitely something that takes a lot of time, a lot of lost sleep, a lot of thinking about a lot of different issues for the students. But I would never get to meet people like you and like the whole UTRGV TV staff if it wasn't for this. So I'm definitely very excited for what's to come. I have 1 more semester left of my studies left. So we'll see what's to come, and I'm very excited also by the new leadership that was just elected.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. There was a new SGA president elected. I think you wrap up early on in May. Now, a lot of things happened throughout your run. I mean, you had Edinburgh and Brownsville, come together as UTRGV. A lot of change. We did away with the Bronc and with the Ocelot and the Scorpion and everything. All the mascots of old. We got the Vaquero. There was a lot of controversy, and now things seem relaxed. But there's a lot of change, is what I'm saying. The medical school, everything. Yeah. How did what transpired during your run meet up to your expectations going into it?
Into our first term, we had no idea what we were getting into. We really didn't. We thought we had. We thought we knew what was going to go on, and we thought we knew that we had everything under control. But it ended up being that we got into office. And really, I think there's no way to prepare you to being the president of a student government of a school that's in a transition. Because if you're a previous UTPA SGA president, you look at how previous people did their jobs and how you can improve on that and how you maybe can adopt some of their styles into your leadership and into what you want to do. But in a transition of a university, there was nobody that we could look for as far as, okay, so what do we do now? Yes, we have our advisors, but there came a lot of the times when I didn't know what to do. And I would ask my team, my advisors, and they said, we don't know what to tell you. So there was the expectations were very different than what we had to what ended up being. But it ended up being a lot more fun, a lot more pressure, of course, but a lot more fun. I learned a lot about others, and about how to deal with other people, how to make things happen, and how to work in a team, which is very important. We're students at the end of the day. We're going into the labor force, and those are skills that are very important. Now, learned a lot here on campus, and also in my trips that I did to Austin, to the capital, meeting a lot of different student leaders from around the state and around the country a lot of times. So it's been a lot of fun, more fun than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, all kinds of craziness. You really did a good job of kind of being a part of the student body, from the athletes to the clubs to everything you were around, and obviously being a part of SGA brought you all over the country. Looking back at your 2 years, I want to go positive and negative here. Yeah. Firstly, positive. You always got to start positive. What to you is like your proudest accomplishment when you kind of hang things up? I mean, you still have a few more weeks to do something crazy, but thus far, what to you has been kind of the best achievement you've had so far?
To me, our best achievement, and it is not only myself, it's a university achievement. It takes a lot of the administration to be for it, and a lot of the students to be for it, was what we were able to do with the UTRGV tuition. Now, I know that a lot of students don't like the structure, but I was also sitting in class about a month and a half ago. I'm sitting in class and I'm just hearing how all of these people are saving so much money because of the UTRGV tuition and how much they like it.
And what'd you do to it?
So what we did was that at UTPA, we would get charged for every class that you would take around $750 per class that you would take. At UTRGV, we kept it at 12 hours. So you're taking 12 hours, you're paying the same as a student that's taking 15 hours or 18 hours or 21 hours or more. So that's where a lot of students that could not afford, because of their financial aid and their financial situation, to take one extra class to graduate in 4 years, now they can afford it. Because the financial aid, the tuition increased, but the financial aid is very proportional to what the school is charging for their students. So we were able to do that. We increased a lot of the financial aid that we're giving out now in comparison to UT Brownsville and UT Pan American. So that to me is my proudest accomplishment. As I mentioned, it's not only me. It was a committee of 8 people that came up with these ideas and with these projects. And here, sitting in class, you never hear students being excited of their tuition. Yeah. And you might not believe me, but I was sitting in class and people, it's a lot of seniors, just started saying how great the UTRGV tuition is for them. So at that moment I said, after everything, after all the hardships, we ended up doing a good job. So.
Yeah, I do think when you look at what UTRGV can do, an affordable education is paramount, and so that makes a lot of sense.
And definitely coming into office, we see that if you get elected into student government office at a university that is not changing, there's really a lot of excuse me, limits on what you can actually do. But we got elected into UT Pan American, and there was a world of possibilities of what we could do, because everything was changing, everything was going to be new. Now, we don't like all the things that happened, of course, but I think that at the end of the day, the fundamentals of the school, I think the education is getting better. I think that students are getting more tools for their success, and I think I feel I'm a very hard person to feel satisfied on something, and I don't feel satisfied 100% on what my term is. I think it's going to take.
So on to the negative. What kind of do you look back as either your biggest regret or maybe more vague? What do you wish you had done, or what kind of advice would you give to your successors?
What I wish I had done more for sure was being a little more out there with the student body. I know that a lot of the times we get caught up in between our studies, in between doing a lot of office work, dealing with the administration. What I do wish a lot that I would have done a little more was actually being out there, just set up a table and just talk to students, and get to see what they're thinking and what they're actually perceiving of the university. Because we did a lot of surveys, and I focused a lot on doing surveys for all the decision making that we did, the tuition, everything. We did surveys to gauge the student opinion, but I wish that I could have been a little more out there just to get to know them a little more personally.
Now, why is SGA, why is student government important? I mean, how big of a role and influence does an SGA actually have over the decisions being made over a university?
It has, I saw it first-handedly, that it has more influence that any student can imagine, and even any student coming into the office of student government president that you can imagine, because you're sitting at the table with the university president, with the vice presidents and the executives, and you're trying to figure out what's good for the students. And so there came a lot of the times that a lot of the things we're seeing at UTRGV right now happened because I'm sitting at the table and they're trying to come up with an idea, and they said, okay, Alberto, do you like this? Is it going to be good? If I say no, we're not going to implement it. If I said yes, we're going to go with it. And it came down a lot of the times to situations like those, which it seems crazy, but it makes a lot of sense because the president of the student government is elected. It's the only democratically elected position in the leadership of the university, that the students can actually have a say-so in who is representing them at the table. So making sure that you know who your student government president is, that if you have a concern or something, an idea, make sure to send him an email or stop by the office.
And they'll respond, because I mean, it's not like you guys are over flooded with emails, right?
That's right. No, we always have space for everyone.
Now, let's talk about the future. 2 questions to wrap this up. Firstly, the new SGA president was elected on Thursday, Denise Molina of Brownsville Run. Now, this is someone you've worked with. What do you expect out of her?
I've worked with Denise every single day for the past year. So everywhere from getting us elected again, she was all for our projects and all for our vision, to making sure that the student government is running very well in both campuses, both in Edinburgh and in Brownsville. She always cared for both campuses a lot, not only for Brownsville. So what I'm expecting from her is to keep on the really positive image that we're trying to establish of the student government. We knew that coming into UT Brownsville, there was a lot of some negative feelings towards our student government, and that's where we came in. We won the election, and we're trying to kind of do like sort of like a new hope for the students, that we're actually here for them. Now, I am disappointed in the outcome of the student turnout in the election, but I think it was hurt a lot by the
delay in vote, because there was an initial day for the vote and it was delayed.
It was said, and it was something that the candidates had campaigned for 2 weeks, and just telling students to vote during those days. But there were some technical issues which they happen, and not only here, it happened all over the country. If you really look into the student media from other universities, it happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens. And so we had that delay, which I think affected a little not the outcome. I think Dennis would have still come out on top no matter what the turnout was. But I think
it affected the turnout.
Yeah, it affected the turnout a lot.
And lastly, when you look towards the future, I mean, you've been a part of some important discussions. You've seen a lot of leaders in the UT system, but specifically UTRGV. What do you see in the future for the university?
Look, another thing that I wanted to mention about Denise is that what really excites me a lot about this election is that we did our UTPA election the first time. We got elected. Then we ran again for UTRGV, and we got elected again. Now we see Denise, she's part of the current administration, of course, of the way that we're doing things, and it's very interesting, and I'm very happy to see that students like the values that we stand for and like who we are, because if not, it's kind of a referendum for your student leadership. You say, if you like how things are going, you're going to vote for the person that's currently in the administration. If you don't, you're going to vote for the other guy. So the majority of students that voted, I like to think, are very involved in organizations and in a lot of different things, and they've worked with us. So seeing that Denise is continuing going and continuing the vision of the administration, and that the students are actually comfortable with the way that we've been representing them, that's leaves me a little more satisfied going ending on my term. But onto your question, what I see is probably UTRGV in the near future. I could see it as being the second most important university in the system, just next to UT Austin. I think that's the way we're headed with the medical school. There's only 2 universities in the UT system that are going to have medical school at their campuses, UT Austin and UTRGV. So I think we're at a level where we're receiving so much attention. If you say that you're from UTRGV at the Capitol in Austin, everyone's going to know where you're coming from, and that all the resources that are being implemented into the university, and the trust that they have in our leadership in Dr. Guy Bailey. Of course, not everyone agrees with all the decisions that are made by the university administration, but the respect that he gets in the higher education community, I've never seen anyone get as much respect as Dr. Bailey. So we're excited, and we'll continue collaborating with the administration and with him. Of course, I've been in the position for 2 years, so I do know a little more about the student opinion and stuff. So I think that if I'm ever asked a question, I'll feel happy to contribute to Denise, but it's going to be important to see how she's going to lead the organization, and I think it's going to be a great year.
Well, Alberto, it was a pleasure having you on. It was a pleasure to have you as president, and thank you for coming on. Alberto is going to be looking for a new job, right?
That's right.
And I don't know if you were at the job fair this past week, but there was a job fair here on campus, and Stephen Lopez actually went there, and he got the story.
The hustle and bustle of UTRGV's Student Employment Job Fair is underway, with students looking to see what opportunities await them.
The purpose of this event is for the students to come and see what's available for them, for the students to look for jobs so they can work during the summer, and also to see if there's something available for them during the fall.
For some students, learning and working at the same place is a perk all on its own.
I feel that it's better to work on campus because it is more flexible with your schedule, where you're not staying out so late at your job and you have class in the morning, so it's very, very good to work with your schedule and with your studies as well.
Students can also look forward to gaining work experience that will benefit them in the long run.
It's going to help them. It's going to make them grow as a young professional. So we really highly encourage students to start as a work study, a part-time, or even an SEI position are really highly encouraged for students right now.
Students willing to work don't have to look farther than our very own UTRGV. For UTRGV News, I'm Stephen Lopez.
And next, we take a look inside the world of UTRGV athletics, and doing that is Daniel Galvan. On to sports. And before we get into UTRGV, I just want to wish Kobe Bryant the best in retirement. He's one of the greats. And what a great way for the 37-year-old to go out with a win, scoring 60 points against the Jazz. And it was nice that he took a shot for every Lakers game that Jack Nicholson attended. In terms of best Lakers ever, I think you've got to go Kareem, Magic Johnson, Jerry West, Smush Parker, and then maybe Kobe. And while we're still on the topic of basketball, I just want to give some props to former UTRGV supernova Dakota Slaughter. After finishing up his basketball career a few weeks ago at the WAC tournament in Las Vegas, Slaughter signed a deal to play professional basketball. He's going to travel all the way to Europe to play in Bolivia for LaSalle Olympic in the Libo Basket League. And yes, I know Bolivia is in South America. Congrats, Dakota. And per UTRGV Athletics, Dakota actually makes the 27th Vaquero or Bronc player to sign a professional deal in basketball since 2000. Moving on to baseball. The team had a solid but really cold weekend in Illinois. The Vaqueros won 2 or 3 games against Chicago State, winning the last 2 by 5 and 6 runs each. I wonder if the team asked Tim Smith for a weather update before heading over there, because the games were in the low 30s with some snow. I have no idea what snow is, but the weather played a big role early on as UTRGV dropped the opening game 12-7, but they had plenty of success in a doubleheader Saturday. And before we go into the highlights on those wins, bear in mind that I don't have highlights because I couldn't find any video of the game, so I had to create my own B-roll. So take that in mind. So what you'll see on the screen isn't actual collegiate baseball, as hard as that may be to believe. Firstly, earlier on Saturday, UTRGV won 7-1. Andrew Garcia continued his great start to the year with his best performance of the entire season. He pitched a complete game, giving up just 1 run and striking out 6 batters while only allowing 3 hits. Garcia did all this with 132 pitches, and that was his 5th win of the season. The Vaqueros jumped to a 3-0 lead in the first thanks to a single by Corey Davis that brought in Scott Mercer and Jose Garcia, and a sac bunt by Victor Garcia. In the 5th, Manny Laredo hit one of the 3 doubles that UTRGV hit in the game, and then Isaac Gonzalez brought in the 7th run with a single. And then later on in the day, pitcher Justin Quinones was dominant. He pitched 8 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, and struck out 6. Eddie Delgado then came in the 9th and pitched a shutout inning to close out the game and the win for UTRGV. But like earlier in the day, UTRGV jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the 1st inning. Jose Garcia brought in runs in the 2nd and 4th with doubles in each of those. 7 different Vaqueros got hits, with Austin Oaks actually getting a triple. And just to throw back to Friday, by the way, this is a video of Scott Mercer stealing a base. And here we have a player getting hit by a ball, getting ready to throw fisticuffs and hitting an RKO. All right, neither of those things happened, but I just wanted to show that video. And here's my elbow drop. RIP Randy Savage. UTRGV baseball is now 14-14. They got a 500 record, and they'll look to improve tonight as they open a series in Edinburgh against North Dakota. They play them today, and on Saturday they also play, that's Salina night, and they play on Sunday. The team will then travel to Austin on Tuesday to play the Longhorns, and it'll be a big week for UTRGV baseball, and I'll have you covered with all the news and results. That's it for this week in sports. I want to thank my cameraman, D'Angelo Russell. Reporting for UTRGV TV, I'm Batman. I'm Daniel. I just wanted to say that. Thank you for joining us on this week's edition of UTRGV TV. I want to thank you for bearing me, sports director, as anchor on this week's edition of UTRGV TV. But if you want to stay tuned to new editions or check out old editions, you can check out our YouTube, or you can check out our Facebook, our Twitter. We have an Instagram. And I'll tell you what, if you want to go classic, you can send us an email. All that information is right there on your screen. And I want to thank my producers, Benny Montesinos and Alarna Vargas, along with the crew in studio, Tabitha, Melissa, and Eric. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Reporting for UTRGV TV, I'm Daniel Galvan.